Welcome to Quack&Co, the board game channel where every video is 10 minutes or less guaranteed. And today, we're experimenting with a bit of a new series, or a bit of a new format here on the channel called Should You Play? And this time we're talking about Through the Ages, a new story of civilization by CGE Games. Now, this is going to resemble Sid Meier's Civilization. It is what gets brought to the forefront of my mind when I first viewed and played this game, and as a massive fan of that video game series and that genre of economic production, building up your military, your arms, your wonders, this game fits right into that family. And I think it does an excellent job at doing so. So let me give you a foundation of what this game is, then I'm going to go through 3 reasons why you should not play Through the Ages, and 3 reasons why you should take the time to dig into it. Now, I've had my copy of Through the Ages for the better part of 3 years, still unplayed, and I just got to play it for the first time. And I have to say, it was an interesting dive into a game that is in the top 100 on BGG, and I think would argue that it was in fact worth the wait. But the question is not for me, the question is for you. So in Through the Ages, you're going to be playing through, well, a series of ages, where economic cards start coming out onto your tableau here. Technology, resources, wonders, great leaders, and you'll be drafting them up into your board, building your tableau. The game I have in front of me right now is a late-stage game, actually a finished, completed game. You can see a sprawling amount of cubes, resources, workers, and cards that have all pilferated out. Now, as you play through, you'll have a series of events that you actually get to program into the game that start spawning or resulting in different consequences like victory points, different scoring, science objectives, and more. And the main objective of the game is to score as many victory points as possible, which happens during the course of the game, but a ton of victory points, almost 50% of them, will come at the end of the game as you program into that event deck what type of scoring conditions you want to be met on the table here. And you won't know exactly when each one will score. There's a chance that yours might be the very last one in the deck, meaning you've had all of your time in the world to build up for it. Or it could come out a turn before you've ranked up your military, meaning that you've just scored 30 points less than you intended. Along with this economic growth and building, this Euro-style game where you're doing your very best to take actions, develop resources, and build your tableau, there's also a good degree, or at least a healthy degree, of player interaction. You can fight, squabble with your military might over different resources, cards, and islands that'll bolster your economy. You can also go to war with other players, giving them a whole turn to build their defenses in response, and doing things like stealing victory points from them in the process. And then finally you can create pacts and treaties between both players, meaning you get the opportunity to negotiate. You pay 1 science, I pay 2 science, and we build extra wonders for free, something along those lines. Now, in front of me here we have our player boards, resource cubes which are blue, worker cubes which are yellow, and 2 tracks that track or keep track of, said track 3 times there, 2 different grids down here that keep track of how many of those cubes have entered your civilization. You'll be able to bolster them, but the lower your population gets, the higher and harder it's going to be to feed and keep them all happy. The lower your production gets, the more inefficient your distribution model is going to work, so you'll lose some product along the way. And then we have our top tableau here full of great leaders, technology, military might, and science and civilization production, Civ being your main objective or points. Up here you also have 3 core tracks. We have the row where our cards, our age cards, will come out, cycling down and playing through an entire stack of them from one age to another, and having a natural progression, a natural flow with no breaks in between. You have our science track over here, which are going to be the resource that you utilize to purchase things like technology cards. Nearly every card in the game relies on science to be a model that you can use. We have our Civ track here, which is your endgame victory points, which can start generating from round to round, depending on how you've built up your technology or your civilization. And we have our military might over here, which will be establishing tactics cards, which allow you to get extra military strength for things like having a set of tanks or a unit of swordsmen. You also get bolstered strength for different technology cards that you build, like the professional sports team that I have here, because we can always send football players to the front lines if necessary. And we have our age cards and our event cards, which every time you play down an event card or program an event card, another one will be drawn and resolve on your turn. So a bit of a give and take there. So let's get into the meat of this content. 3 reasons why you should play Through the Ages. Well, first off, if you love Sid Meier's Civilization, if you love Seven Wonders, if you love Civ building games, this might be the best in the genre. It is absolutely deep and thematic, with expansions you can incorporate into a ton of crunchy Euro mechanics and a lot of progression from one stage, one era to another. It spans over the course of 3 to 4 hours, and every second of it was rich with decision, action, and investment from the players. Now, the third reason, or the second reason why you should consider playing this game is because there's actually a compatible app which replicates the entire game in a digital version. The physical game is wonderful and amazing, but the digital version might be more accessible, and that'll lower the bar to entry, meaning the odds for you to be able to play this game and learn this game are higher just because there's an app there available. And if you don't have friends who you can sit down and play with, the app is a great solution for that. That being said, once you've played the app, you might want to dig into the board game itself. And the final reason why you might want to consider playing Through the Ages is because it will be one of those grail games, one of those table games, one of those I plan 1 month a week or 1 month or 1 day a month in order to play this game. This is a 4 to 5 hour, if you have a full party, really a 3 to 4 hour slog of a game. And I mean slog in the best of ways. I'm talking Feast of Odin, Kingdom Death, sitting down to play Blood Rage, Gloomhaven Campaign, like any of these games that you prioritize and plan a group around, Twilight Imperium, we have Eclipse Second Dawn, any of those type of titles, this can go on the shelf right next to them. Meaning that you will pull a group together because of the love of this game, and you will have an amazing time when you all get together once a month to sit down and play it. And the better you get at it, the more tactics you use, the more you play with the same group over and over again, the higher that reward will be. So, 3 reasons why you should not play Through the Ages. Well, first off, if you don't have an established gaming group who's willing to invest 4 hours into a game, or 5 hours if you include the teach, I would assume. Now, I know you can get it down to 3, but that's with quick and efficient play, and there's an opportunity for a lot of AP. This game is going to play best, I believe, at 3 players, and so if you don't have that interaction, if you don't have that game group, and you don't think you're going to be able to build that, Through the Ages on the digital app might be the best solution for you, because the tabletop version, while incredible, is a hard game to get to the table. It must be a purposeful action, which means you'll have an amazing day, but it also means it's going to be hard to get out. Along with that, there is a ton of min-max resource management, tableau control, like everything, every cost you're paying throughout the course of this game has little cubes you're sliding back and forth, and the production doesn't help with that, right? It's not double-layered boards, it's not things that help hold your hand as you do this, and if you and your game group oftentimes miss or mix up rules or really stress about making sure every cube is right and you want to handhold people's turns, you're gonna slow this game down. This game is best when everyone can efficiently run their own engine and other players can start thinking about and taking their turns when their turn actually begins, which is after you have finished your turn but before you've completed your full production cycle. This game has a lot of little nitpicky control in it. And the last reason you might want to consider not playing this game is the fact that they have a mechanic in here called, where is it? It should be here. Resign. Resign is going to be the action, and I don't think I have the definition here. Resign is going to be the action that you've lost this game. This game can escalate to a point where by halfway through playing, by the 2nd or 3rd age, you know you've lost. Now, it doesn't mean it's not fun, but it does mean you can be out of the game before you've really finished the game. I'm talking an hour of additional play. That's because it's heavy, it's crunchy, and it doesn't hold your hand, and if your economy starts to fail, you're gonna challenge yourself just to get it back up and running, let alone be able to efficiently and functionally play. So if you don't want to play a game that takes 4 hours and might knock you out a whole hour or 2 early, this one's probably not going to be one for you and your gaming group. That being said, I've had an amazing time with it, and I can't wait to dive back in, but it also might take me a few months to do so. That's my time. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is Quack&Co, but only if you search